We killed a super.
My God.
We've only got a few episodes of Gen V left, and I really want to get into episode 6. So as always, I'm Al, this is the Geek in Review, so let's get to it. But first of all, before I do that, just to say thanks for taking the time to choose to watch this video. I really appreciate it, and if you haven't done it already, please subscribe and leave a like on the video if you make it all the way to the end. So yeah, Gen V is coming in its final few weeks, and this episode is really setting up what's to come here, and maybe in The Boys as well. Because it has been confirmed that the end of this season will tie into the next season of The Boys, and that's going to keep going where they're leapfrogging each other, at least for the time that both shows are on. And there's a huge setup for something similar to the end of the Boys comics here in this episode, but this week is mostly a flashback episode in Kate's mind. So we see a lot of things from different people's point of view, a few secrets are exposed, and not every one of the main cast is squeaky clean as they seem. So let's get to it. So Kate brings back everyone's forgotten memories from the last few weeks, bringing them up to date, and tells them that Dean Shetty is behind it all. Andre thinks that all the glamour in the look is what made him kill Brink, and while this is going on, Kate collapses from overusing her powers. She reaches out to the minds of the others, which is a new aspect to her powers we didn't see before, similar to how we seen Emma shrink down, but we didn't know that she could bulk up or grow up until a few episodes later on. And I think there's going to be more reveals about people's powers in this show, namely Marie, but I'll get to that. But back in the woods, Shetty and Dr. Cardoza are observing a superhero or a suit that they've affected with the virus, and we learn that it does only affect suits, suppressing their ability attaching to the compound V in their bodies. So it is confirmed then that this is some sort of virus to suppress or control them. It's just all a matter of how far they're willing to go, and we do get an answer to that later on in the episode. But the gang wake up in Kate's mind, not really sure of how they got there, with a wall mysteriously vanishing just in front of them. And this leads them into the woods, i.e. the actual woods, not the woods that are part of the show. And they work out pretty quickly that they're in Kate's mind and are watching things that have happened in her past. We see that this is the disappearance of her brother that was mentioned in episode 3. Also, Soldier Boy appears, who apparently was Kate's imaginary friend, and you know, this is a Soldier Boy, alright, and I'm just going to show a clip because the guy's the guy.
Diddle that skittle. Flick the... I know you. Hey, you're Kate's new fuckboy. Yeah? Knock, knock. Who's there? Go fuck your face.
Okay.
This is all very similar to what happened to Butcher with Mindstorm in Season 3, and they're trapped in Kate's mind and need to get out before she dies. So all gets a little bit Inception-y. We see how Kate got to God U and met Dean Shetty, and Kate was literally a prisoner in her own home before doing this. And it seems that she can also project and hear thoughts. As I mentioned earlier on, this show is starting to sort of reveal other aspects to people's powers that they aren't aware of, and this is going to be a much bigger deal going forward. We see Shetty offer Kate a drug in her home before she goes to the university that will suppress the voices in her head, and it cuts to a God U lecture room, with it being the first time that Kate, Luke and Andre met. And it gets a little bit even more Inception-y here when it seems that Luke can see Andre and tells him that he misses him, so he's aware that he's dead. But we find out as well that Andre and Kate were seeing each other before Luke's death, and obviously he's a little bit pissed by that. But they manage to escape him and make it all the way to Brink's office, where they see how Brink handled Luke before, and we see that Jordan was involved in helping Brink manage Luke, and that's how he became, or how they became, Brink's TA. And Jordan has to confront themselves literally, and I thought that this was really well done because we haven't seen both actors that play Jordan in the same scene together, and I love this. It really worked for me, but obviously it's something that they can't do every week. Once Jordan's confronted what they've done, the gang end up in the woods and see Luke and Sam being experimented on. Luke wakes up and Kate glamours him to think that Sam's dead, and doing this repeatedly seems to be what causes Luke's mind to snap that we've seen in episode 1. It also looks as if they were transferring Sam's blood to Luke in order to make him stronger, and Brink did mention this in the first episode as well, that Luke was just getting increasingly and increasingly stronger and was going to be the next Homelander. But with Andre and Jordan both confronting memories, it's now Marie's time as well. So she cuts back to seeing her dead parents and her sister, who blames her for what happened to them. And we haven't really had any information on what's going on with Marie's sister since she was name dropped in the first 2 episodes. Was she in the woods? Probably. Has someone else got her? I think that's the case, but I'm going to do another video on that. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. But while all this has been going on in Kate's mind, in the real world, Sam and Emma hook back up after she's got her memories back. And when I say hook up, I mean they literally hook up. And what's interesting here is Sam sees her as a puppet when they're, sort of mid-deed. And we still haven't really had an answer for what's causing this, if it is Sam's mental health or it is another suit projecting onto him. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. But back in Kate's mind, she shows up and offers to let them go, and she doesn't want to wake up herself. Andre makes her confront what she's done, snapping them all back to reality and waking up in the real world, just as Emma and Luke show up, and Luke remembers Kate and what she's done, so isn't best pleased to see her again. They manage to calm him down and they quiz her about what's been going on in the woods and what Dean Shetty is up to, and they decide to all go and confront her head on about it. But it's the end of the episode for me that's the most interesting part. We see Dean Shetty and Dr. Cardoza discussing what's going on with the virus and what the next step is going to be. They basically want to keep testing it to see how sick they can make a soup, so they're really going into the whole sort of Nazi Second World War experimentation thing. Cardoza summons her later on, saying that the virus has killed the soup that they were experimenting on earlier on, and this was something that he never meant to do. But Shetty isn't shocked by this, and she asks if it can be done and be made to be more contagious again, which, as I said earlier on in the videos, if you've read the boys' comic books, especially the ending, you kind of get the idea of exactly where this is going. I'm not going to ruin it in case they do bring it up in the main boys show, but basically there's an anti-soup virus that plays a huge part in how the comic book story is resolved, and they really seem to be setting that up here. So although the last scenes did end well for me like last week, this episode didn't particularly move the plot forward. Because, of course, it was a flashback episode. So last week we had the gang investigate the memories that they didn't have, and this week we just have them investigate memories that they do have. It kind of feels like the show has stalled a little bit midway through the season, and I hope it picks up in the final 2 episodes. It's not to say that it's necessarily a bad show or I don't like it, it's just so frustrating after the first 4 episodes were so good. I'm still liking the show and where it's going, and with only a few episodes to go, I hope it does pick up the pace next week. But as always, these are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Are you still enjoying the show? Are they going to set up the comic book ending with the virus? If you don't want to comment here, you can reach out to me directly on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it at The Geeks Reviews. I'm going to be doing more theory videos on Gen V and the boys once that's back. So if you made it this far, as always, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it already and leave a like on the video. And my name's Al, thanks for watching.
Knock knock. Who's there? Go fuck your face.
Okay.